Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca. Just wanted to do a quick video today on something I get asked about quite a bit, which is how can I hear my digital piano or my keyboard along with other sound sources like my iPad or my Android device or my phone or something at the same time through my headphones. So let's check it out. Okay, so you want to be able to hear your digital piano playing along with another audio source. I'm just going to keep using an iPad as an example. Through your headphones all at the same time. So before I start talking about some of the various solutions for this, there is a really easy one, but it depends on your piano or keyboard. What you want to do is look for an audio in port. It could also be called auxiliary in or aux in. And if you have one of those, then you're in luck, because all you're going to need to do is get a cable to connect your iPad to the audio in. So you would get a cable for your iPad that has a 1/8 inch, most likely, connector for your headphone port on your iPad. It's going to be a stereo cable because you want to have a stereo signal coming from your iPad. You can tell it's stereo on your cable by looking for two black stripes. So for example, this is a stereo 1/8 inch cable, and you can see it's got two black stripes. If it only had one black stripe, it would be mono, and you'd only be getting one side. So you want to get a cable that has that correct connection for your audio source, and then the other end of the cable needs to be the correct connection for your audio in port on your digital piano. Most likely it's the same kind of port. It could also maybe be a 1/4 inch audio in which case you would want to get an adapter like this, also stereo. You can see the two black lines, and then you could connect that 1/8 inch cable into your audio in port on your digital piano. Now, if you have a newer piano, you might even have Bluetooth audio in. Some newer pianos have that, in which case you don't need a cable or anything. All you need to do is pair your iPad using Bluetooth to your piano, however your manual says to do that, and then you're off to the races. You should be good to go. Okay, so if you don't have an audio input port on your digital piano, then don't worry, we can still get it to work for you. What you're going to need to do is get some type of a mixing device. And what a mixing device is going to do is going to take two or more audio signals that are incoming, mix them together, and make them into one single audio signal that it sends through its output. And that output could be to headphones or to even some speakers or a PA system, that type of thing. So with any of these options, before we start talking about them, you need to know what kind of ports your piano has as far as sending audio out into this mixing device. So your piano might have audio out or line out jacks. If it does, they're typically going to be a 1/4 inch type jack, and they're going to be mono. So you're just going to have one line on your connector, and there's going to be two of those. There's going to be a left and a right. Now, if you don't have an audio set of audio output jacks on your piano, you can still make this work. What you can do instead is just use your headphone jack on your piano, and that's going to be a stereo jack. So if you're using if you do have the line outputs, you're going to end up needing quite likely two mono cables that have that 1/4 inch connector on them. And if you don't have an audio output set of ports on your piano, then you're going to need to get a splitter cable that has the stereo 1/8 inch on one end, and then that's going to split into two mono 1/4 inch. So just the single, I'm hiding the one black stripe there. And then that's going to be what you're going to use to send your piano audio out to your mixing device. Okay, so option one for devices, simple audio mixer. A mixer does just what it says. You plug everything you want to into the mixer, your piano, your iPad. If you've got enough ports, you could plug in a mic, a guitar for your friend, etc. It's going to mix all of those signals together, and usually on a mixer you can adjust the volume of each of those different inputs, and then it's going to output one mixed audio stream. And there are thousands and thousands of mixers out there, and it can get really easy to get overwhelmed. So I'm going to show you a very basic example. You can buy mixers like this one that I found. I haven't actually used this particular mixer, but it did look like it would fit the bill pretty good, and it's not that expensive. There's a lot out there that look like this one, However, they're probably going to be mono, which means each one of the ports is going to be a mono port, which you can still use, but this one's going to be better. You can see it's got little switches so that you can switch each one of those ports from mono to stereo. So what you could do in this particular case, pick one of the ports, have it as stereo, connect your iPad to that with the stereo cable, and then take two ports, your one for your left out of your piano, one for your right out of your piano, and set those to mono, and then have either the splitter cable coming from your headphone jack, or if you have line out ports on your piano, the 1/4 inch line out mono port cables going into the mixer. You can mix that all together and then plug your headphones into the output on the mixer, and you're good to go. So in a practice setting like in my living room, a mixer is super, super handy because I can have my piano, my microphone, my iPad all plugged in, and I can hear YouTube videos, I can play along, sing along, talk, etc. Now there are fancier mixers out there that you can get. I actually have two other mixers that I use. One of them is the Roland Go Mixer Pro that I'm actually using to record this video right now. And I also have an Alesis Multimix mixer. I've got a review up on my site for the Go Mixer Pro that I'll put a link to. And I will soon have a review up on the Alesis Multimix mixer. And I've also got a post that I'll link to on kind of an introduction to mixers and audio interfaces. Now another option that you've got is speakers with multiple inputs. This is another really easy option, and it's also got the added benefit of providing you with a set of speakers. The kind of speakers you're after are powered speakers, so they're not the kind of speakers that are passive that you have with a stereo system. They've actually got an amp built into them. And they needs to have more than one input, because that's the whole idea of being able to use these as a mixing device. So you should try to use studio monitor speakers. These speakers don't have any fancy bass boost or any of that kind of thing, because those things modify the actual original sound, and you don't want to do that. You want to hear exactly what it is that's coming out of your instruments and maybe your voice or your other sound sources. So the set of speakers that are behind me, these are Mackie CR3 speakers, and they're not expensive. I'll put a link in the description to those as well. These are awesome. One of the speakers has a auxiliary input, 1/8 inch on the front, so I can connect my iPad to that. And then it's got proper 1/4 inch line inputs for my piano on the back, so I can plug my piano into that. And then it also has a headphone port. So I could listen to my iPad and piano through those speakers if I wanted to, or I could plug my headphones in to the speakers and listen to the piano and the iPad through headphones. So that's another really good option, really easy, and again, it does give you the benefit of speakers. Okay, another option that's out there now is headphones with multiple inputs. I think these are called mixing headphones if you're searching for them online. I've never tried these out myself, but I'd love to one day. They look really interesting. They basically just have more than one input, so they act like a mixer. The ones that I've seen have two inputs. So one of them would be for your iPad or your device, and it's a stereo input, so from your device's headphone port into that input. Then the other input, because it's just a single stereo one, the cabling is going to be a little different from your piano. If you're using your headphone output on your piano because you don't have line outs, then you'd want to get a stereo connector cable from your headphone out to the input port on these headphones. If you have left and right line outs, then you'd want to be using a splitter cable, similar to what we were looking at before, except it's kind of the other way around. The two mono ends are going to go into your piano, left and right output ports, and then the stereo end would go into the headphones. So with all of the awesome technology that's out there nowadays, you want to take advantage of as much of it as you can. And when you're just learning piano and there's other people in the room, headphones can be a pretty handy thing to have. So as far as which solution you want to go with that I've recommended in this video, before you dive into one, if you have any interest in making your own piano videos, recording some good quality piano audio, that type of thing, before you dive into any of these solutions, you might want to take a look at some of the links that I have on making your own piano video, or my review on the Roland Go Mixer Pro, just to see if it might be worth it for you to spend a little bit more money now instead of buying that cheaper mixer. If you're not interested in any of that in the foreseeable future and you just want to get up and running as quickly and cheaply as possible, then all the options that are on this video are going to work well for you. The cheap basic mixer is going to work fine, and even if you do decide to upgrade down the road, those kinds of gadgets are really handy to have around down the road anyways, so that's always a good thing to have kicking around. The speakers that have the multiple inputs, I use them all the time, and even though I'm not necessarily using the mixing functionality, so got the added functionality of just having speakers. So those are a good option too. The headphones that have the multiple inputs, those are kind of an interesting option and super portable, but that's kind of it as far as what they offer you. So I'm not sure if I would go for those, but it might be a good solution for you. So I hope this post was helpful. Good luck with your choices, and happy piano playing.